Welcome to Journey Through the Eyes podcast, a podcast that's on a powerful mission to support clinicians through critical conversations and sharing amazing resources about EMDR therapy and growing your amazing private practice or your business. So I am one of your hosts. I'm Tamera J. Brown, licensed professional counselor and trained EMDR therapist. And I'm so excited to be here. And I want to give space to my beloved and dear friend and colleague, Kathy. Go on and introduce yourself.
I'm Kathy Couch, and I am out here in Twin Falls, Idaho, and I own Willow Creek Counseling and Rewired 360. And I love everything grief. I love everything EMDR, and I really wanted to share my knowledge of business as I last year began kind of going through how to create my own business. I have a lot of good little juicy nuggets to share, and Tamera and I have just bounced back and forth on these things for a while now. And so we're so happy to share these with the world as we have all these things marinating in our brains all the time. We decided to take the plunge.
Yes, I love it. We are taking a fabulous leap to be able to be here and have and build and create this amazing space, right? To invite other therapists, rising therapists, right, who are on this amazing journey, not just in wanting to learn more about EMDR, but also in growing, right? Taking that navigation. And I love, right, the idea that we don't have to do this journey alone, that we can
Yes.
do it together, right?
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah. So, Kathy, let's get to the deets about who we are. And friend, I want to give you the floor.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yes, I do. I want to give you the floor, friend, for lots of amazing reasons. Because again, on this journey, you have been such a great help and support, right? And encourage me, helping me along my EMDR path. And so, just in giving honor, right, to that space, to you and your expertise in this profession. So we want to make room for you, right? Tell us about you, who you are, and your business, and all the things.
Yeah. Well, and I also want to spend some time in sharing all these little juicy nuggets about who you are, because that's definitely going to add value to what we're doing here. So, well, I just kind of like to start by talking about my journey and kind of how Tamera and I met, to give everyone sort of a background and platform of how we came to be. So last year, I used to work at a hospital. I have history in child welfare and a substance abuse program. And I felt like when I was doing those things, there was something that was missing in the brains of the people I was working with that didn't stick. So then I found EMDR, and I left the hospital when I had twins and a 6-year-old ready to start kindergarten. I thought I need to really keep myself top of mind and serve myself. So I did my whole insurance private practice for about a year. And then I decided, there has to be more. I have a background in teaching and education from Boise State, and specialize in research and evaluation. And I thought there just has to be more inside of me that's bigger than this confined space that I was feeling, right? You felt that too, right, Tamera? This expanded space. So I wanted to just build that process. And so I decided, how am I going to learn how to build a business? Last October, I thought, I don't know how to build a business, but I want to teach people how to use EMDR. I was almost certified. I was certified at that time, and then I was working on being a consultant. And we'll talk about that in our other podcast, that journey. But I thought, I want to teach people. How do I do that? And so I went to this class about how to make my business plan. And it was a real important journey for me. But I decided I want to share with people what I'm learning about the business practices, the things we don't know as private practice owners. We're therapists, we're not business owners. And so that led me to Tamera, as I created my program where people can come and join. It's called Rewired 360 EMDR University. So I thought, I want to create a university where you can come and get everything you need to reach your goals. You don't have to just go it alone. And I think really that's one of the shared values that Tamera and I have, is we don't want to do it ourselves. She has strengths. And so that's sort of where I come from. And I'm mixing my experience with thanatology, which is grief, death, dying, and bereavement, and EMDR. And so that's where I'm at now. But I also want to share these other opportunities. So as I did that, it was interesting to have Tamera come along and be able to share with us how to be able to create these things. So as I met her, she has this enthusiasm. I started following her Facebook page. She has these awesome posts, the vibe, right? She has the vibe. And so, we just matched. We have the same vision. We have the same passions. And so that's sort of where this baby developed from. And she's passionate about women's health and all kinds of things. She already has a business going, coaching business. And so we come from different ways that we look at businesses. And so we're excited to give this to you to share your comments and thoughts. We have so many juicy conversations together that we want to just get them out there, right?
Yes.
And then she dropped this on me. Oh, by the way, I'm pursuing my PhD. I was like, what? Tamera. So she has these little things inside of her that's like, girl, you are amazing.
Yes, I just love it. And I just love you. And I love the fact in talking about how we got here, right? And just hearing on the journey, because I think that I know it has been for me, because I've been doing telehealth virtual therapy for about 3 years now. And I was with another practice, right? And then once that transition came, and you know how we're searching, right? You just trying to find your path as a rising and upcoming therapist and trying to feel your way through. But doing it for me virtually, I felt so alone, and I kept looking for that space where it was both welcoming, inviting, empowering, and not just a space where I can just take, right? But I wanted a space where I can also have something to share and offer that community. And Rewire 360 has become that for me, And so just a little, I guess I'll lean into a little about me and just my journey, because my practice now is Arise Counseling and Psychotherapy Services, LLC. And I'll tell you, I got here by a leap of faith, right? Just like how, so many other therapists who right now with the economy, you see therapists who, are working for other companies and then they get let go, or, just things are not looking very stable. And I just so happen to be one of those therapists who got caught in that web, right, of being let go unexpectedly. And even though I'm 2 years as a professional licensed counselor, 2 years into it, tracking into my 3rd year. And it was almost that space, Kathy, where I had a choice, right? I had the choice to either leap in and go ahead on and build my private practice, or try to go back and find another agency and a practice. And I just called for courage, and I just did it. And I tell you, we have so much to share, so much real life conversation to share about this journey, especially, if you are a mom or you're a parent, maybe you're a dad, because that universe can look very different for everybody. But we're here, right, on the journey to share our wisdoms, our expertise, and just to be a support, right, a community of support for our fellow EMDR clinicians, right?
So what I want to point out with you is I want you to share now, sort of in the EMDR University program, we talk about goals and things, and you said something really important. So the last couple of weeks, we've been focusing on where we want to go. Do you want to share what your vision is for your business and where you want to go with that? And then I want to comment on the importance of the why, like you were just sharing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I have to say this, because I'm sure there's going to be a therapist that's going to come across this podcast. And if you're anything like me, right? I'm a true visionary, but I see
Yes.
the big picture. But you know,
Yes.
you got to take that picture in small bite size. And I didn't want to do the bite size. I didn't want to do the work that you are inviting us into through Rewired 360, which is get strategic and get clear about your vision and then your goals. But my vision, right, is that first of all, I'm a holistic therapist. I do believe that we are more than just thinking beings, right? I totally believe that we are spirit, we are mind, we are body, we are energy, and we are social beings. And so in my practice, I focus on that. And EMDR is a beautiful, beautiful pathway that allows me to express that view and that lens that I see human beings through in a very beautiful and a very powerful way. So my goal is to really scale and grow my private practice here in San Antonio, Texas, and develop a beautiful, very diverse group practice, right? My hope is to add on other amazing clinicians that offer cutting edge therapies, Kathy, because just like how one of the things that really connected me to you was the fact that it was the first time I had heard of an EMDR therapist who was trained in thantology.
Yeah.
And I was like, we do okay. And so, you know, and it's so that, you know, that niche, right? That thing
Yeah.
that wakes you up, that path. And it was so unique in the way you were expressing it. And it helped me to discover that my passion, right? My
Yeah.
niche is really women and mental health and helping them to heal the trauma, right? And so, yeah, so that's a little bit about my vision and where I am headed in my own personal journey.
And your coaching practice as well, right? You have a coaching practice. You just came with me like, oh, by the way, I have a whole nother business that's set up. And you just
And you know,
dropped it
and can we
all. I was
really,
like,
you know, and Kathy, because we're so multidimensional, right? We're
yeah.
so multi-purpose. And you know, I actually, it was my professor in grad school who said, Tamera, if you were to marry therapy and coaching, you would have
Yeah.
an amazing practice. I didn't even have a clue what coaching was. And so I did, I invested. I spent what I still am involved in my coaching school, my mentor that I went to school with. And but then she helped me develop my own academy, right? And so my coaching specialty is training. I'm the coach's coach, right?
Yeah.
And so I help other aspiring life coaches, whether it's a clinician or just, you know, just a person who loves helping people. I help them to learn an evidence-based coaching model so that they can really get out here, be the amazing coach that they aspire to be, and really help their clients to get results through an evidence-based coaching framework. So we'll be talking about that on the journey as well.
And I also want you to talk about your PhD program there. I mean, you're so multidimensional, you really are. And that's fascinating. Could you say a little about that?
You know, if I can, because, you know, it really is such a powerful conversation for me
Yeah.
because, you know, we're learning how to integrate all these different parts of ourselves and how do they all flow through? Because for myself, I am a person of faith. I believe, I respect everybody's beliefs, right? And I love hearing other people's stories and, you know, their faith walk and everything. And so I was a few years ago, before becoming a clinician, I was heavily involved in my community in the church. But then it was almost like I felt spirit was like, what I want for you is so much bigger than what's happening in these walls. And
Yes.
it's
Yes.
been a whole
Yes.
journey. So I tried going to seminary. It didn't resonate. It didn't resonate. And I had to really give myself radical permission
Yeah,
to
for sure.
find my lane and my path. So I ended up at the University of Metaphysics in Arizona, Sedona, and taking on their self-study program. And I just finished my bachelor's, right,
Hey, good for
in
you.
metaphysics, right? And so,
Metaphysics,
yeah,
girl, look at you.
yeah, and I'm working towards my PhD now and trying to finish up my thesis. Y'all say a prayer for me because
Oh yeah, for sure. Set. Yeah.
but yeah, so integrating that whole concept, right, of how we are not just a thinking being and an emotional being, but we're spirit, we're energy, and all these things are flowing
Yes.
so powerfully in our lives. And so I'm just here learning so I can show up and share and support others that are also in that same space.
And what I'm doing is I'm really so excited about our energy together. So really, as you're talking about metaphysics and for you and I, just pushing this energy forward that we both have. I want to kind of talk about some of these points that you had said. First, I want to talk about the visionary. I'm a visionary. So when I came in, I was doing my business plan. I thought, I just need a plan. Where do I go for a plan? I go to the local college, right? It's always been what I do. And so I'm also now going to take a marketing class because we'll talk about marketing in other podcasts. But I'm a visionary. I'm like, as I was going through this EMDR journey and we're putting in these piecemeal, okay, go with this consultant for an hour, go with this consultant for an hour. I'm like, there has to be a better way to teach people. And so really it's like, that's my vision, is to create a shared space, where you go through, the bachelor's degree, the master's degree, and you continue learning all of the things. And so as you talked about being a visionary, that really resonated with me, because I'm like, I have a vision. I don't know how to do it yet. But when you and I talk about these tactics, these methods, I want to just teach people how to do the tactics and the methods, right? And that requires me to invest in myself and my learning. But it is a really emotional process, isn't it?
It is. It's a big,
Really emotional process.
it is. It's a big, powerful shift. And I love just how you shared on that, right? That investment that we make in ourselves. And I hope that our audience, our listeners, will be able to really lean into that, because this whole journey about us starting a private practice and some of the things that we're going to be sharing is to help our fellow clinicians to come off our autopilot, right?
Yes.
Come off
Yes.
our autopilot, get in the here and now, so that we can really lean in to what we're building, and then hear those strategies or those principles, take them one by one and implement them, right? Implement them. Okay. And so that's really amazing. I appreciate your share on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk to you just a little bit about the people that are listening and sort of what you had mentioned, and where I was at as well was so I have a daughter and twins that are younger, and she's 6 and they're 3 now. But when she was younger and I hadn't had the twins yet, I had her and I was on maternity leave. And so there was no place, I had my LCSW, but I had no place really to be like, oh, I can go out there and see people and validate myself. And so that was at the moment, it's like, I'm never going to be in that position again to where I can't make my own income. And so that's really what I'm encouraging the listeners to think about, is what's your why? Your why, Tamera, you're a little different. You were kind of blindsided, but also still that ignited you forward. So really thinking about what is, this perceived crisis can be a really transformational experience. So really getting clear on what is your why? Why do you want to do this? And then even through like me going through EMDR and being trained, I was like, what's my niche? I don't have a specialty. And then I was like, you're a certified thanatologist like you do. I was like, oh yeah. So there's nothing really to develop. We just have to really validate what we already are, because EMDR therapists are some of the most trained therapists we know,
Exactly.
right? And we'll get into like what is EMDR in future podcasts as well. But really kind of like taking what you're saying, Tamera, with the mind, body, spirit approach, and being able to integrate all the things is really an awesome space. And we have freedom, right? There's a lot of risk. There's a lot of fear, isn't there? Sometimes.
Yeah, I loved how you said you shared something that really resonated with me. And
Uh-huh.
you said, you asked, what is our why? And I'll tell you, Kathy, I see myself as a true student of life. I really do. And I'm learning, because you know how we can go on Professor YouTube, Dr. Google, and we
Yeah.
hear all these powerful concepts like, what's your why? And it took that moment of
Yes.
being let go, right? And me recognizing, just as you said, how we see the problem, how we see the crisis is going to determine how we navigate through it. I saw it as an opportunity, right? But then along the way, for me to say, okay, I'm going to no longer rely right, on things that are outside of me, organizations and other practices.
Yes, yes, external locus of
Yeah,
control. Yeah.
yeah, to produce an income for me and my family. I feel like my income, my choice, my self-worth is my decision. And I'm heavily leaned into that now. But the powerful thing was this journey really helped me to get clear and to take time to say, why am I even a therapist? Why did I choose
Yeah,
EMDR therapy? And
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? And one of the things that I can really say that I'm truly clear about now is I have a clear passion or wanting to make sure when I show up in a space helping a human being move through whether it's grief, trauma, all the things that I have the skill capacity to help them get the results they're looking for, right?
Yes.
And so me being effective and helping to create change, right, is a big part of the reason why I am here doing what I do.
And what is the thing that you mentioned a moment ago that is so powerful is you didn't just talk about permission, you said radical permission. Could you share just a little bit about that?
Yeah,
It's a very powerful concept, for
yeah,
sure.
because right, it's all the things with how we quote unquote, and I use my little L fingers, right, with the imposter syndrome. When I was going to get my training in coaching, and my coach was amazing, right? And she always talked to us about the mindset and how our mindset was everything. And, when you're working, when you live in this society, for many of us, we are introduced to the notion that you have to go through an employment system.
Yes.
That whole system sets us up for almost this state of dependency where we rely on
Right.
those systems to take care of us. And when
Uh-huh.
those systems break down or they break through, then we're in this tailspin of, I don't know what to do and I don't know where I'm going to go. And I was in that space and I recognized the employee mindset and that dependent mindset I was living in, which was okay, right? It was okay because, again, that's what I got introduced to. But when all that collapsed back in January, I had to give myself permission. I had to say, Tamera, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe nobody else in my family has owned their own business. Maybe my best friend is not a business owner. So, where are you looking for that permission or that validation?
Yeah.
I really didn't have it in my immediate space, right?
Yes.
There wasn't people around me, Kathy, talking about it. I could see it on Facebook groups,
Yeah, for sure.
right? But that
Yeah.
wasn't enough to energize or fuel the motivation. And I had to say, okay, you're going to have to give yourself that validation. You're going to have to tell yourself, right, that you can be this, that you can do this, and you can have this. And that authority has got to come from your own voice, Tamera, not waiting for somebody else to come and tell you, now is your time, now is your season, you have what it takes. I really had to sit down.
Yeah, and I was thinking, here kind of in my small town, I've watched all these entrepreneurs like go into their own business, or the other model that they were making money was sublet. And I thought, really what I did is I went internal, I sat with myself and my energy inside, and it's like, really, those don't fit for me. Those don't fit. How there has to be something more. And so really I say this picked me because I'm researching and putting the seeds in. It's like this can be bigger. It doesn't necessarily just have to be those models that we've grown up in, right?
Yeah.
So that's where
Yeah.
I come from with that as well. So I just have a couple minutes here. We're just closing thoughts. We will be back again, and we'll dive more into this next week. Do you have any kind of closing comments or?
Well, I'm just really excited. I'm excited. And then you know what, Kathy, I'm proud of
Yeah,
you. I'm
I'm
proud of
proud of us
you,
too. Yeah.
for showing up and for birthing this baby and sending out this love, light, and energy to
Yes.
our fellow aspiring, growing therapists that they too will have a space, right?
Yeah.
to be able to kind of press pause,
Yes.
tune out the rest of the world, go within to really tap into the amazing, amazing self
And
that is
that's the
there,
power. That's the
right?
juice. That's the energy. Like once people
Yes.
feel that from us, then they're like, oh, okay, this isn't what I say. I have a little sticky on my monitor. I said, this isn't a training, it's a mission, right? This is a mission. This isn't a event. This isn't a one-off. This is a mission,
It's
right?
a mission, a whole mission journey that we are navigating through and doing it with lots of courage, lots of love, and lots of brilliance, right? And so I am proud of us for being here.
Yes, we did it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, to all the listeners, we certainly appreciate you. Look forward to more juicy content. We will be launching this, and we're so excited to share all of these juicy nuggets and episodes with you as we move forward. So we appreciate you all. Believe in yourself. Our message is unity, compassion, and really, there's a space. There's a space for you. You don't have to do it alone. We're here. We've got you. You matter. All right, till next time. Signing off. I'm Kathy.
And I'm Tamera.
Next time.